Okay, so I'm going to start. So basically, this is the Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, we have assignments week by week, and what is expected, what they have to do. So if I just scroll up and down, you'll see that. I'll go into details, what is the roadmap and so on. But just to give you a quick background on the project itself, the project is called Stories of Transformation, and the project is about the change makers from Bharat. So these change makers have contributed positively and have transformed many lives and the community. And last year we had 16 change makers that we interviewed, and then we wrote articles about them. This year I'm expecting not 16. I think might have less in number when it comes to the change maker. But that's the pretty much the background. Like what I will do is, let me just share. I have a presentation, so I'll just share the roadmap just to give you guys an overview what is expected. So here is the process roadmap when it comes to the interns, what they have to do and so on. So Niharji and team, they'll help you identify who are the change makers that we have to work on. So once that is being identified, what the interns will do in the initial week is they are going to review and research on the change maker and the kind of work that they have done, the kind of projects that they have worked on, and what impact they have left in the community. And of course, our change makers will provide us with some reference material, so the interns will have a chance to go through that. But in addition to that, they'll have to do their own research and try to bring in a relatability factor when it comes to the teenager. So it starts with that. And then they're gonna interview the change maker, but before they interview, they're gonna prepare the questions, the interview questions. What is it that they wanna ask the change maker? And once that is done, they will interview the change maker, and then they'll make their notes, and then they'll start writing the article, a long article, followed by a short article with 750 words, and the long article was for 2500 words. To begin with, it's going to be just like a draft. So first it will be like a first draft of long article, first draft of short article, and then later on they're going to fine tune it, and will be ready for submission. So this is the roadmap. Like, I think this should help. I hope this helps you, Vinayji. Does this give you a good idea what is the scope of work for the project?
Yes, definitely. Like there will be more questions
Yes.
when I go through like the details.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a fair idea. And is it like basically we discuss about like 8 weeks, but it looks like a 5 bullets. So is it like a 1.5 week per bullet, or like it depends on the intern?
Yeah. So I'll show you week by week what has to be done. I have that outlined also, but just wanted to give you a quick review here. Let me go back to the Google Classroom. So what I had done was, as I said, we had 16 change makers. For each change maker, we created a Google Classroom. So this was for Abhishek Ji. And here, week by week, I have everything that the interns are supposed to do. So to start with, I had an initial questionnaire wherein the interns filled out some details. For example, I'll just quickly skim through it. It's opening. Okay, so basically, what is their expectation from Stories of Transformation? What are some of their strengths? And is there any specific skill that they would like to pursue during this internship? This is just to instill sincerity before they start working, and also for you as a project coordinator, you do want to kind of have an idea how the interns are, because you won't have met them before. So yeah, that was just to get started. And then before we kick off the project, there would be an intern orientation. So this presentation that I showed was part of that intern orientation. I'm going to open it again and just show you what all I had covered. So, and this is in the Google Classroom. Once I add, you'll have the access. So to begin with, here were the points of discussion. What is Dharma internship, which they already know now? What is the objective of Stories of Transformation? The process roadmap that I just showed. how the team structure is going to work. They will have weekly meetings. So how will that come into play? And what is the role and responsibility of a mentor and Kishore? We'll also have a mentors who's going to work with each team. Okay. So I don't need to go over the first slide. Herein you can see what is the goal of Stories of Transformation. And I think I kind of explained you, the process roadmap is self-explanatory. The project team overview would be, there will be one project coordinator, so that would be you. We had 16 change makers, so this time that number is going to change. Number of Kishores that will enroll, that number will also change. For each change maker, you will have one team, and one team can have 3 Kishores. So, and between the 3 Kishores, you can have one person who would be kind of a tracker. So they'll make sure that the team is on track, they're meeting the deadlines, whatever goals are being set, they are on track. So that can be talked later. Here is a brief outline of how the meeting structure works. So every week, they need to have an individual meeting between the Kishores. And they'll discuss about the tasks, the assignment that is for this week. And of course, they have to work together. So they'll have to communicate. It's a team project. So they have to meet once a week. And this meeting can be any day from Monday to Thursday, because on Friday, they'll have a meeting with their mentor. So the mentor is going to review everything that happened during the week and make sure they are on track and so on. So here I have when it is going to happen, who will schedule it. So the individual meeting will be scheduled by the Kishore progress tracker that I just mentioned. And then of course the group meeting is going to be scheduled by the mentor. This is about who will attend. Here is the structure of the group meeting, how the meeting should be. So we want it to be a formal meeting. They should not take it casually. So, they start with 3 Omkars, and then for next 20 minutes, they're gonna talk about, this is for the Friday meeting with the mentor. I just have a structure here. They talk with their mentor, any hurdles they faced or any obstacles and so on. And sometimes you can have a skill building task, and we can talk, I'll let you know what that can be. It doesn't have to be every time, but yeah, they can get creative with it. They'll review the action items and then end with Shanti Mantra. Here I have defined what is the responsibility of a Kishore and what is the responsibility of mentor. So I think you can read this. I don't need to go over it because it's already there. Because this is from last year. I had some next steps when I had done the orientation. So I don't need not go over it right now. And now my all change makers presentation starts from here. So basically in my during my orientation, what I did was I highlighted each change maker and just the overview about their contribution. For example, Milind ji, he was involved in the groundwater management. His project was called Vayam. Similarly, Umendra Dutt ji, he was involved in a Kheti Virasat project, like organic farming. So all the change makers that we worked on last year are over here. So you'll have similar change makers this year. Of course, they are going to be different. So that's all I had here. So this was just for the review. So I'm going to go back. And now here is the project background. This is their assignment. Before I do that, let me show you the other important document. So here is where it's an Excel sheet. Week by week, what are the tasks involved? And what is it that they have to submit when and how soon? So I think this will be your go-to document. So this was, so you can start from June 21st. I started from June 25th. And accordingly, I had kind of broken it down. So in first week, for example, they have to acquaint themselves with the change maker, his project and all of that. Of course, we'll provide the material. They do their research, and then they also prepare a rough draft of the interview questions that they want to ask. So that was in week 1. Week 2, was about actually interviewing the change maker and making notes and so on. And then of course, in every week, you're going to have an individual meeting and a group meeting. So likewise, so if you go through this spreadsheet, it will give you an idea. I have laid it out. I've tried to make it as simplified as possible, but this will definitely give you an idea. So again, just to reiterate, it's very simple. You start with reviewing the change maker, his work, and then you work on the interview questions. What is it that you want to ask based on what he has done? You make your notes and you start working on long article. You start working on short article as a first draft. And then of course, what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to fine tune your long article, short article. After that is done, you will also prepare either a short video or a post for social media, like Instagram or Facebook, wherein you can summarize about the change maker. So some of them had done it and they were really creative with it. And the final week is going to be about the presentation. So every team presented whatever they did for 8 weeks. And so that presentation, in terms of the timing, they were given like 6 to 7 minutes or max 9 minutes to present. So yeah, that's kind of the scope of work. So I'm still in week 1 here. This is for their reference. So here in Google Classroom, if you see the symbol, something like this, it's just for reference. If it's an assignment, then the symbol is gonna change. So that will help you. So in week 1, their assignment was about, so here I had uploaded some reference material that I got from the Changemaker. So the Changemaker will give you some articles. They can also give you a reference to a website. If the project is being executed at a massive level, then you might even have a website. So it depends on who the Changemaker is. So their first assignment was about doing, so let me open this, was doing the research and making notes. So here it is. We can actually open somebody's homework here. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so the intern basically, they reviewed the reference material and they put together their notes about the project background and history, any research notes that they came across, and they put it in the assignment. So let me go back. So that was their first assignment. Their second assignment was, like, as a team, they discuss the interview questions. What are the questions they want to ask? And here is the list of questions that they as a team came together. So this is the first draft of the interview questions that they came up with. And of course, they reviewed it with their mentor later, and they might have modified it. So this is just preparing for the interview. Okay, so that was week 1. Week 2, what I did was I provided them some sample articles of a short article and long article, not in connection with a change maker, but I took some articles from Instagram, from New York Times, so that they get an idea, because all of them are not good in writing. Some of them are, but one of the purposes, they also develop the skill of writing. So, something for them to refer. And here is their assignment for final interview questions. So once they met with their mentor, they came up with the final interview questions. They interviewed the person and then they compiled the interview notes. So they're supposed to take notes, of course, when they interviewed. The interview was done on a Zoom call or a Google Meet, if the change maker has access to Zoom and Google Meet, because some of them work in remote areas. Most of them were able to. For a couple of them, we had to do a WhatsApp call. They could not access Zoom or Google Meet. So here is this assignment where they compiled the notes from the interview, and every intern in the team is supposed to do that. So they're expected to make notes. Okay, so let me move on. Okay. So after that, after the interview was done, they start working on the long article. So here is the assignment, preliminary draft of long article. And every week, if there is an assignment, there is a deadline. So if I click here, you will see, like, if you have questions on Google Classroom, I can help you later. But they will have a deadline, so they have to submit the assignment before that deadline. Followed by a complete version of long article. So they started with a preliminary draft, and then they would work on fine tuning it. Followed by a short article. So once they write a long article, writing a short article is very easy because they've already compiled the notes. They have done the research. Now all they have to do is just shorten it. So now after the long article is done, they work on the short article, followed by the final edited version of long and short article and a short story for social media. So this was in fifth week. After that, what they would do is they would work on the presentation after they are done, and they would do the presentation in front of everyone. So when they did their presentation, we invited people from all Sambags, whoever can join. Their parents were invited. Other interns were also invited. Whoever is interested, they joined, and we did have a good attendance. After the presentation, they had to finally submit the ready to be published long article, short article, and the story for social media. So here they will make sure, once again, they'll just check the facts, the data. They would talk to Changemaker if any edits were needed, pictures were added, some quotes were added. And yeah, that's about it. So that brings to the end of the internship. And then this was for volunteer hours, so you don't need to worry about it. I think this time we're going to have a different system. But yeah, this is kind of an overview. I thought this should help you today, and of course I can work with you offline. I'll add you over here. So I'm going to add you. That way you will see everything. You can go over it, and then I can answer any questions. For now, I'll open it up for questions. If you have any questions, I can answer. I hope I was not too fast because I know so much. So it might be like whatever is in my head, I'm trying to say everything.
No, it was perfect. I would say that like you did an awesome job. Okay, so this was a good overview for me. So few questions, like the first one is like a Kishore tracker, the person who is going to be tracking. So he's doing his project. In addition to that, he's
yes, he has the additional responsibility. So that person could be somebody who's little matured and is sincere. So I'm just making sure his team is on track.
Sure. And then like as I can see, like actually 3-leg kind of thing where there is a project coordinator, there is a mentor, and then there is a team of these Kishores.
Yeah. So you are the project coordinator. So you are one person which you will oversee all the change makers project. So you will also need to have a meeting with your mentors on Saturday, where you kind of review how everything is going. So that is your role. There will be one mentor for each team. So 3 Kishores plus 1 mentor, and this mentor will oversee their project. And the mentor will give you an update and will tell you if they are facing any obstacle. You'll have to coordinate. You'll be the middle person between the change maker and the mentor kind of thing, in terms of you'll have to get their phone number. You'll have to maybe create a WhatsApp group just for one change maker, add the mentor and Kishores and everyone. So, whenever there is an interview, they are able to talk to each other later if they have questions. So you kind of oversee and guide them. Yeah. And then of course I can help you as needed. Yeah.
You stole my question, actually. That was my next question.
Okay.
That what I'm supposed to do. So I think like my job is going to like actually you have done an awesome job of creating this structure over here. So I need to code that and adopt that for this year, this structure.
Yes.
Okay? And then basically be a coordinator between the mentor and the team on the one side and the change maker on the other side. So I will be that coordinator. And second thing is that I will have to oversee that once this particular structure is there, it is getting followed. and
Yes.
the assignments are done and the milestones are getting hit.
Yes,
So that is
exactly.
what is going to be my job.
Right.
And if there is any trouble which
Mhm.
mentor is facing in any kind
Right.
of, okay,
Yes.
that is my job to resolve it.
Right.
Resolve that.
So you will have to have a meeting with all the mentors on Saturday, because Friday they have their group meeting. So every week, that's what I used to do, and it really worked well. Actually, this is the first time we did it, and some things I learned on the go. But yeah, we tried to put it together from scratch. I think it did work. And of course, feel free to add your additions here, because whenever you do it the second time, it's going to be much better. Yeah.
Well, all of us learn, right? Yeah.
Yes. And also feel free to attend the group meetings. Make sure you attend some of the group meetings. That way you can familiarize yourself with the Kishores, the mentor. Also, yeah. So, and that was one suggestion I had. And in this Google Classroom I had created from scratch, but for you, you can actually just copy the documents that are needed. So yeah, it will be easy for you. You can
actually, I think you could actually duplicate the classroom and change whatever is required.
Yes.
That's one way also of doing it.
Yeah.
If you do not have experience with Google Classroom, I or Richaji or Rajji or somebody can help with the classroom. Do you have experience with classrooms?
No, and this is a good opportunity for me to learn that.
Yes. And,
sure. I will.
So some work is required before all of this starts, which is like we'll have to contact Saumitra ji or other pracharaks like Shyam Parande ji.
Shyamji, yes.
Shyam Parande ji is also contacted, right? So we can contact them and we can get these names first, whom to interview.
Yeah.
And their contacts and everything, right? We need to talk to them once also. Call them up and tell them the context that we are doing this so that we want the youth to learn about your work and all. And
yes.
So we orient, we kind of like talk to them, like right, Richaji, you talk to them once, right?
Yes. So basically what I did was, so there will be one spreadsheet for the change makers where you will have their phone number, email address, any notes about their project. So that we can get from Shyamji or Saumitraji, and then talk to the change maker before the internship starts. So yeah, just get an idea so you can also familiarize, because once the article writing starts, you also will have to make sure that whatever the change maker stands for, it's kind of reflected in the article. Sometimes Kishores, they just write something. So yeah, you will have to make sure that it's in line with what has been done. And but yeah, I think that's all I can think of so far. But yeah, we can always talk offline and I can help you out.
So Richard, just a last question, because I know that it's already 8:45 and Vijay ji is also waiting. So the question is about like, is the change maker get an opportunity to review any of these or no?
Yes, definitely. So once the articles are written, the final published version, we kind of did share with the change maker. Yes, so you can do that email. So you'll have their email, phone number. What I did was I created one WhatsApp group for each change maker, and I included the mentor, the Kishores, and yourself. So then that team is formed and they can talk to each other whenever needed. So you'll have to, there will be some coordination from your side. Yes. Yeah.
And there is one more question, but I would like to keep it and I would like to handle it like offline with you.
Okay.
Like this is the